So as Matt said, we're going to be learning a couple of things today, and we hope you write some things down. Because all over the world in modern workplaces, we have branded merchandise that's still distributed in its own traditional way. It reflects outdated thinking. A logo t-shirt, an engraved water bottle, a token handed out at a conference. It's the same formula that's been repeated for decades. The approach is deeply entrenched in routine. Bulk orders in dozens. We're all familiar with that. Uniform distribution, a few key people choosing the items, trying to please everyone, and then the vague hope that the recipients feel appreciated. But in the process, something more valuable is lost, and that's connection, intent, and authenticity. The intention behind these items is commendable, is to show gratitude, build unity, foster engagement, but the execution too often undermines the message. Instead of saying, we see you, the subtext sort of becomes, we barely know you. Consider an example that happens thousands of times a day in corporate America. A company distributes beautifully packaged embroidered shirts to its teams at a retreat. There's momentary hype. The material is high quality. It's designed with care. But then suddenly they start opening things up and something doesn't fit. So now someone feels embarrassed. They don't reflect an individual style, so it's a bit awkward. The color might be too bright. Something might be strange. They remain unworn, abandoned in hotel closets, discarded by the end of the weekend, or brought home as a gift to a 5-year-old nephew. The gift, meant to convey appreciation, inadvertently becomes a symbol of detachment. This realization sparks an imperative question that we've asked: is this the best that we can do? So the traditional model of branded merchandise is not just inefficient, but we find that it's misaligned with the values of today's diverse workforce. Overproduction, underutilization, generic items that fail to resonate, complicated logistics that frustrate rather than delight. And the worst part is that the people they're meant to honor often feel unseen. So during the height of the dot-com boom, tech companies flooded conferences with branded novelties: mouse pads, stress balls, plastic gadgets, you name it. These items were all designed for visibility, but instead they became emblems of excess. When the bubble burst, landfills overflowed with forgotten promotional items. This happened again and again. It continues to happen today. So who pays the price for the clutter? Well, countries like Chile and Atacama Desert, which has been a dumping ground for up to 59,000 tons of old apparel now. The island of Hispaniola, where Haiti is, receives thousands of tons of clothing each year that we think we're donating, but we end up just putting it in a landfill somewhere else. So from history to mythology, we also find similar missteps. The Greeks, as you know, presented Troy with an opulent wooden horse as a peace offering, but hidden within were soldiers. The gift was not an expression of goodwill, but a calculated strategy of deception. So today we see some echoes of that, some vague echoes in this corporate culture. Branded items are offered with this implicit expectation, which is to wear this, promote us, conform. So sometimes they look generous, but sometimes they can feel obligatory. Can you imagine the awkwardness of a manager picking an item which a team member finds culturally insensitive to them, only to have that team member feel an obligation to wear it? Or worse, if they choose not to wear it, then be labeled as someone who doesn't support the brand. Or when feedback is given on branded gear options, and we've all had that feedback from everyone, sometimes we get labeled as never being happy. No one should ever look at the company jacket in their closet and go through any type of emotional gymnastics. That's not what the brand intended. The intention behind the gesture is obscured by how it's executed. And we feel that a gift with strings is no gift at all. More recently, we found in a 2019 industry study that over 50%, more than half, of promotional items distributed at trade shows are discarded within a week. Beyond the financial loss, this represents a missed opportunity to connect in a meaningful, lasting way. Each item that ends up in the trash carries a silent but powerful message to us, which is, we didn't consider what mattered to you. So with 15 years watching companies do it this way, we started down a path to ask better questions. What happens to all of this leftover gear? Does every organization in America and the world really have a swag closet filled with old and outdated inventory that they don't know what to do with? What if we stopped assuming what people want? What if we invited them into the process? What if we elevated the branded merchandise experience into a meaningful experience rather than reducing it to a simple transaction? Some of the more personal questions we asked were even harder around our business model. I mean, what kind of company tries to get people to order less of their product and do it better? But we learned that we can do better. So enter Axomo. That's how it was born initially. We provide organizations with a refined, intelligent platform to reimagine the way branded items are shared and received, whether to team members, clients, vendors. We have people that use it for lead generation. You can give out credits at a conference. It's really nice. And if people use it, great. If they don't, you didn't just give them a piece of garbage that they're going to throw away at the end of the trade show. Curated, personalized experiences. We have on-demand production, reduction in waste, the seamless global distribution network that we continue to build, and integration with enterprise systems. Our live dashboard provides real-time visibility, as you saw earlier with Chris, into engagement, selection trends, and usage, which empowers organizations to make data-driven decisions and continuously refine the experience. We don't deliver merchandise, we create experiences. And at Axomo, we do it with a 90% reduction in waste. And if waste reduction isn't a good enough reason to use Axomo, on average, companies increase the reach of their brand exponentially, some up to 80 to 100 times, achieving millions of organic micro impressions. Why? Because each participant in an Axomo-driven experience selects branded items that align with their identity, purpose, and everyday use, yet still within the guardrails and guidelines of the brand. The result is a far more meaningful experience and form of engagement. People feel authentic brand and the pride. They feel an elevated satisfaction. They feel belonging. Items are actually used, worn, and shared. Impressions of the brand skyrocket organically. You have somebody that's out on a Friday night that's actually going to wear their gear. And as Matt said, conversations about the brand with others ensue more naturally. They create an instant connection or a detachment, depending on how you feel about the brand. In my recent one-on-ones with every member of our team, over 80% were organically wearing their branded gear. What a great conversation starter to have with them when I said, I'm so interested in the color and the design that you chose. Would you share more about why you chose it and what it means to you? The answers were so interesting to hear why people chose it and what the brand suddenly meant to them. There was that connection. There was something real there. So as much as we love giveaways and creating hype, which is appropriate in some settings, organizations need to evolve from transactional gifting to intentional, human-centered connection. We thrive at this. Companies that partner with Axomo don't just improve operational efficiency, they liberate themselves from the chaos of outdated logistics. No more manually collecting sizes, no more endless spreadsheets or guesswork, no more ordering excess inventory that sits in the closet untouched. So let's get rid of those swag closets. Axomo replaces complexity with automation, simplicity, and choice so that leaders can focus on what matters most. And that's building your culture, not managing boxes of swag. This, coupled with empowering employees with choice, makes the impact both immediate and enduring. This is what transformation looks like in this space. Branded merchandise isn't disappearing, but its purpose is being redefined. Because in the end, it's never about the item itself, it's about the meaning behind it. People don't remember the gift, they remember how the gift makes them feel. So let's start curating moments that are more cherished. Let's start connecting. This is way more than just better swag. This is Axomo.